What's up, War Report family? War Eagle to y'all. It is game day. Not on the plains this time. The Auburn Tigers are traveling to West Virginia to take on the Mountaineers in the Big 12 SEC Challenge. And we're here to talk about the game coming up. Hopefully, you guys are having a good morning. We're going to get straight into this Prize Pick style. Our sponsor for today's show is, of course, as always, for the pregame show, Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com is your place for daily fantasy. Some really great stuff going on Prize Picks right now, to be honest with you. They've got of course, the NFL playoffs going on, and they've got like a crazy prop in there that's pretty much a gimme to throw on your card. So it is, will Joe Burrow complete a pass, right? Like he completes one pass and you automatically will get one prop on that card that you're going to get. So you just need to get two more things right. And you can put a little three play together. But make sure you head over to prizepicks.com. Again, you can use code RAPPORT if it's your first time going there. You get a 100% price match on your first $100 worth of deposit. So prizepicks.com, use code RAPPORT to sign up. But let's take a look at Prize Picks for today and just get straight into the challenge that we have going on, and went ahead and put a little card together for our Prize Picks so that we could take a look at it. Your guy likes to throw those props together before, so we don't have a bunch of time sitting there trying to figure it out. But here on Prize Picks, what we've got is Jalen Williams. I've got him going over 5 rebounds today, and then Wendell Green, hoping he can get more than 4 assists, right? And then we've got here Mark Sears. So didn't have any props for West Virginia when I first pulled this up. There are some now. Trey Mitchell, Eric Stevenson is here now. Emmett Matthews. For when I first did this, there weren't any West Virginia props that were loaded in here, but they're available now if you guys wanted to go ahead and add them to your card. But I did pick a couple of Bama players today that I figured would be able to get Mark Sears at least 2 threes, Noah Clowney at least 10 points. Went ahead and put that card in. So, but we can talk about Eric Stevenson. This is going to be a big thing. But anyway, make sure you head over to Prize Picks, put your card in. And of course, you can do this for any of these sports. Just to show you what I was talking about earlier, they've got this great prop that I anticipate using for myself tomorrow before the game. Listen, all he's got to do is throw for 1 passing yard, and this prop is locked in. They also do some interesting things in the NFL with combined yards between both passers. So total passing yards for the game is an interesting prop that you can do. And they do the same thing with combined, receiving yards, rushing yards, right? Like, so they have combined passing touchdowns from both quarterbacks in the game. So some interesting props going on out there right now. So I suggest you guys go ahead and get your cards together for the championship round there in the NFL as well. Anyway, let's get to talking about our game. I see some of you guys filtering in here. Cameron Little, War Eagle, and good morning to you. Ben Bloodworth, I see you in here. Sherman Sawyer, good morning. Ernest Vaughn, bingo. Who do I think will win? We'll get back to that. Ben Bloodworth says, hope our basketball team does better at 11 a.m. starts than our football team has done historically. And then C Hall jumps in. Who do I think will win? I always think Auburn's going to win every game. Doesn't matter. Well, I'm going to tell you why I think Auburn can win. Who will win? There's a lot of things that are going to contribute to that. But Auburn definitely has an opportunity to win here. Before beating Texas Tech in this previous game, West Virginia hadn't won a conference game. So they had been on a little bit of a slide in conference. Not to say, in the Big 12 is a good conference, so it's not as if they're losing to terrible teams. But Texas Tech's not a great team that they just beat. So them beating Texas Tech doesn't make me as nervous as I've seen some other people about this game. So what I will say is that they can score. West Virginia can absolutely score. They shoot over 30% from 3. Let me just pull this up and make sure I'm getting this right. 34.7% from 3. Teams that can shoot well from the outside are going to be teams that Auburn traditionally have struggled with, because we're going to defend the 3 fairly well, but we're going to give you some easy ones. And Eric Stevenson, who I said I would get back to, was a menace against Auburn when he played for South Carolina. So he's going to be out there and he's going to get buckets, but we can limit those 3-point shooters. I think the Texas A&M game has people feeling as if Auburn is on some sort of slide. Texas A&M made some ridiculous shots in that game. Contested threes. Listen, those are shots that you just got to tip your hat to a guy and say, hey, man, you made a good shot. It wasn't that Auburn was playing poor defense. You're not going to play flawless defense for an entire 40 minutes. So there were opportunities in there that Texas A&M got some easy buckets, but they also made some really tough contested ones early in that game that helped them stretched that lead at the end of the first half that Auburn was ultimately unable to get back into the game. But I think the big thing for Auburn is traditionally is this team isn't built to come from behind because we don't have 3-point shooting like that. So it's to jump out early and then maintain the lead. They did the jump out early part correct against Texas A&M. Then Texas A&M went on a run where they were just again making some ridiculous shots in that run for them to put up the numbers that they did in the first half. In the second half, it kind of leveled out a little bit more, but because the lead was so big, it was insurmountable for Auburn. So I think you're going to have a similar situation where you jump out early and then you play solid defense through the remainder. And if they make crazy shots, then you just have to tip your hat, but you're just going to continue to play your basketball. I thought Auburn actually played pretty well offensively for the most part in that game. The turnovers are going to be a problem. It's always going to be a problem when you're having turnovers. But teams, I think, as they did last year, are figuring out that the pick and roll is going to be something that Auburn's going to go to late in the clock. And Auburn has to figure out a different way to play out of that pick and roll scenario besides having Wendell Green up top, because they're going to just hedge against that and then they'll trap the ball and try to force it out of his hand. So they have to figure out a better way to do that. How they were supplementing that against Texas A&M was going to be to pass out of the double team to the high post and then let Janai Broome, Jalen Williams, Dylan Cardwell, whoever it was at that high post, make the right decision on where to pass, get that second pass out to the corner. And then this is where Auburn has to be smarter, not just taking the corner three because it's open, but drive or make that a more medium range shot for yourself because it's going to be a more high percentage shot. Put another stressor on the defense, and don't just take that first pass away. Make the extra pass, or then get into the lane and get a more high percentage shot. I think if we can start to do that offensively, we'll be in a better place. But I liked what we were doing out of that pick and roll trap action against Texas A&M. Just got to make the buckets on the back end of that. Anyway, more to this game and less about Texas A&M. Actually, I'll get into you guys' comments here. Leanne, I see you in here. Good morning. You say this game will probably tell a lot about the second half of the season. I mean, I think this game will tell a lot about where the players' heads are after Texas A&M. I don't know how much it tells about the second half of the season. Basketball is such a fluid thing, man. Listen, you guys, Auburn has the ability to go on a run at any point in time, beat anybody any given night. And I've said this over and over again because we play defense so well. I don't know that one game is going to be indicative of how we are moving forward. I think one game is a game and each matchup is going to be different. So we just have to take them week by week. But what it will tell us is, how well we are equipped to play teams outside of conference that play different styles of basketball, which is what you're going to see in the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of teams that play similar styles of basketball in the SEC. So, and they're not similar to what West Virginia does defensively or offensively. So it doesn't tell us a ton about the remainder of the season because the rest of the season is going to be an SEC schedule. Let's see here. Ernest, I see hot dog water in here. War Eagle to you. Pocket Watch, I see you in here. Ernest Vaughn says, I know it's B-ball today, but Holden had a drop back run in A-Day for like 10 to 12 yards, I believe. Hey, I want to see it. He didn't accept my challenge. I don't believe it. Even if I saw it, I don't believe it. Leanne jumps back in, says we need Jalen to have a big game. When his game is on fire, we operate better. Want to see Wynn have double-digit assists and Zep shoot the ball more than 3 times. I like all of the things you just said right here. Double-digit assists for Wynn probably means that we are winning this game pretty handily. 6 to 7 assists is probably a great night for him. 5 is probably around what I would anticipate him getting tonight. I just put him on my prize pick cards for over 4. So 5 is about what I anticipate for tonight. I agree. Jalen needs to always be big for us. He can get his shot whenever he wants to. He needs to be aggressive, and hopefully he can get a lot of those medium range because they're going to play a lot of zone likely against us and force us to shoot threes, and they're probably going to trap a lot. So we have to be willing to pass well out of those traps and not allow anything that they're going to be doing in the full court or in the 3-quarter court to bother us and get us out of our flow on offense. Derek jumps in and says, "Wart, damn Eagle Ike, and I told you I was worried about Texas A&M. They're always good, play good defense." I'm always worried about Texas A&M as well because Buzz Williams is a good coach, and right defensively, They do play well, but they kind of shot out of their minds. Again, Texas A&M's not as good a shooting team as they showed in the first half of that game. I think that we will have an opportunity, even away against them, to possibly sneak a win. But we'll see how they play in that second game and whether or not they can shoot that well. But yeah, if a team plays good defense, I say the same thing about them. I'll say it about us again. If you play good defense, you can always be in games. So always dangerous teams when you can put a good defensive effort together. Um, Ernest says he wants Green to have a double double at least. Hey, listen, I am here for the Wendell double double. Points and assists is the more likely double double. So I'm looking forward to seeing him be able to come out here and do well. He's played well for us the last couple of games, and I hope that he can continue to do that. Um, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys coming in and checking in with me today. We are looking at, as Ben said, an early tip, awkward tip. Somebody said earlier, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tip off in West Virginia, noon their time. So this game's supposed to be over on ESPN starting in about 20 minutes. So guys, get into a good place wherever you want to be to watch this game. I'll be live tweeting, of course, during the game, giving you some thoughts on whatever I see going on there. It's early enough that you can do something with the remainder of your day and either feel great about what happened with Auburn or complain to your friends the remainder of the day about how the game didn't go in our direction. What are you guys feeling about the rest of the challenges? How do you think the SEC fares overall in the challenges today? Um, there's some pretty good matchups. Let me pull. I just saw a graphic that I was looking at that had all the matchups for today. Dun, dun, dun. Let me see if I can find it again. I could just look it up on ESPN, I guess. But what's the fun in that when I just literally saw it a minute ago? And of course, I'm not going to see it again as I'm looking for it. Corey, I see you jumping in here. War Eagle to you, man. Jaderick says he thinks it's going to be a tie. Thinks the SEC and Big 12 tie in the challenge today. Okay, well, I guess wherever I saw that, it disappeared. So I guess I'm gonna have to go to ESPN. Let's see here. Dum, 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 Bingo, I'd like to see the new recruits mixed into the lineup going forward so we can get a new mix and winning combination. Listen, man, those guys have to play good basketball. I guess you're talking about basketball. Yeah, you are. You said you put a basketball emoji on there. So yeah, I mean, listen, Trayor and Westry have not done a lot when they've gotten their opportunities on the court. So I think maybe they have an opportunity to change that trajectory, but we need to see it on the floor. So it's a good time to try to get them in there. I think Bruce has been trying to steal some minutes here and there for each of those guys. So all right, let's see here. Um, I just want like one graphic that shows all the stuff like I just saw a minute ago. I don't want to have to read through stuff. Why is that so difficult, huh? Why is that so difficult? I just want one graphic. Okay, so we have Bama's playing Oklahoma. That should be a win. Let me see. Leanne also thinks a 50-50 split in games. If we can, let's put this up on here and talk about this. Leanne says, I think it's going to be a pretty 50-50 split in games. If we can go even 2-5 versus Tennessee, Bama, and Kentucky, we'll be okay, especially if we can pick up the game in College Station. Talking about the remainder of the season for Auburn there. I dig it. Missouri playing Iowa State. Ooh, that's a tough matchup. I don't know if Missouri's going to be able to get that one. Uh, let's go to SEC. All right, here we go. All right. Texas Tech versus LSU. That is a yuck bowl right there. I don't even know, man. LSU is bad. Texas Tech is bad. That's a toss up. Mississippi State versus TCU. think that's a TCU win. Baylor versus Arkansas. Oh, I think that's a Baylor win. Texas versus Tennessee. That's a toss up right there. I'm hoping Tennessee can come out with the win just because I like to see the SEC be dominant versus people. Florida, Kansas State. It looks like a K State win. South Carolina and Georgia play each other. That's not in and then Kentucky and Kansas. That looks like a Kansas win. Ole Miss versus Oklahoma State. Ole Miss isn't very good. I haven't watched Oklahoma State play. I have no idea. Texas A&M and M and Vanderbilt play each other. That's not part of the chat. I don't know, man. I mean, you got Bama winning. You got Tennessee winning. I mean, us winning. I mean, SEC maybe gets 3 of these. I don't know. I don't know. You guys are optimistic about some of these games. LSU could maybe win the Yuck Bowl. I don't know. Doesn't look good right now. The SEC isn't, I'm gonna just be honest, not very good top to bottom. Much weaker league this year because the bottom teams are really not that good, and the mid-tier teams are just okay. Um, I think the Big 12 has a better conference this year than the SEC does. I think the elite teams in the SEC are probably better than the best teams in the Big 12. Um, but I'm not sure that our mid-tier teams are better than theirs. So all right. About 15 minutes before this game tips off for us. Any score predictions from you guys? I don't like doing score predictions. Listen, West Virginia scores. Let me go back and look at this because they score a lot of points per game. And I think they're above 70 points per game right now. They score 77 points per game does West Virginia score. So I think for Auburn to really be doing what we need to do to win this game, you've got to keep this score under 65 for them, just because I don't think we're going to score 70. Um, so I think you got to keep it under 65 for West Virginia in order for Auburn to be in a good space today. Corey asks, what does West Virginia do well? They shoot the ball well. That is the thing that West Virginia does well. They're giving up 68, almost 69 points per game, which is not awful. But they are prone to let teams score 80 on them, right? So they're okay defensively, but they're not great. They're pretty good in the paint as far as rebounding. They're averaging, I think, like 30 something boards per game as a team. 30, looking at it right now, 35, about 35 boards per game, which is a decent rebounding team. Um, they're not particularly great at paint protection. They're average team as far as protecting the rim. But they score. They score 77 points per game, so they can get out and score. That I said it earlier. They shoot around 34, 35% from three as a team. They're a pretty balanced scoring team as well, as far as the top five in their rotation. They rotate about 10 deep. The top five in their rotation are all double digit scorers. So it's not just one guy, but they can score from a lot of different directions. So it's going to be incumbent on Auburn to really play that matching. We should not be playing a lot of zone in this game unless they come out cold. So you're going to be playing a lot of that switching man defense to try to frustrate them, and they're going to play a lot of motion stuff to try to get open looks on the backside three, which we've been prone to give up. So it's going to be interesting to see how we defend against the three. But our defense has looked better these last couple of games. If they can just continue to play like they have been playing it and playing good contest basketball, I think we'll be okay. Um, And this is it right here, Jaderic. I don't know which Auburn's going to show up today, right? Says can't predict the game. Don't know which Auburn will show up today. Really, it's offensively what Auburn's going to show up. We've been pretty consistent defensively. You know, they're going to have lapses every now and then, but the games that we've lost this year, which is only four, and like people act like we've lost 15 games this year. The four games that we've lost this year, some guard from the other team just went nuts, right, and scored like 30. So if we can stay away from that scenario, we're going to be in a good spot. Leanne thinks that we get a 73-68 game. Brian Dixon, I see you in here, War Eagle. Corey says, any chance that our athletic ability can overwhelm them? I mean, overwhelm is going to be strong. They're an athletic team as well. I think physicality is going to be a little bit different. We're going to have to be very physical with them and try to muddy the game up. I don't know that they want to get into a muddiness contest. They're going to want to get out and shoot the ball. They're going to want to run and push the tempo. We're going to want to slow it down. We honestly have been a much slower paced team this year in playing in the half court. It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to play Janai Broom. Lately, teams have been deciding that they're going to just double team him, and he's gotten better at passing out of those double teams. If he's effective in passing out of the double teams, and we're smart with what we're doing with our one pass away offense, meaning we're not just taking that first shot, we're either, pump faking and getting to a better percentage shot when they're flying out on the three, or we're getting to that second pass for a better shot, then I think we'll be doing well offensively. That's something I'm going to look at early in the game. How they're defending the pick and roll, and then how they're defending the high post against Janai Broom will tell us a lot. So definitely looking forward to to seeing that. Good question there. Steve Bradley says, sorry, yesterday on the morning drop, I said I had read where 31 would be attending today, but it was updated to 60 plus in the 24 to 27 class. I hope we play better today and get baskets. War Eagle. War Eagle to you, Steve. Um, Spicy says West Virginia is favored by 4 today. They are indeed favored. It's a 3.5 point spread in West Virginia's favor. The ESPN matchup predictor has it 66.7% chance West Virginia comes away with the W today. So Auburn is definitely between ESPN and Vegas not favored to get this W. So hopefully that underdog feeling will rise up in our guys and they feel disrespected and they go out here and put a big number up. Because a lot of people are saying that we're overrated or we are ranked too high or whatever. So it's time for them to show that they actually are a top 20, top 15 team in the country and go out here and get a win against West Virginia. Again, West Virginia is not a terrible team, but they're not great by any means. They are 8-3 at home, so they play well at home, and we are 4-2 away. So we'll see how it goes, man. We will definitely see how it goes. But I'm about to get out of here so I can get prepped to watch this game. But we will be back at you all tomorrow for our weekend tailgate. Definitely check out your boy on Twitter so that we can talk about this game. Hit me up at TWR Ike Jones, and we'll talk more about it as the game goes on. But looking forward to seeing a win from our Tigers. Until next time, and as always, War Eagle, your boy Ike Jones, I'm out.